Hello and welcome to day one of 14 Days of Automation. My name is Zach with AI Automation Elite, and let's get started. So our first automation will be a 5-piece automation. Now today will be just a slight bit longer than normal in that I want to cover a few of the important pre-skills, if you will, just so that we don't have to cover them in the future. I will be very quick with those, but it's important. Today's automation will be onboarding a new client, and it will have 5 parts. A Google form where we input the information, Google Sheets where we watch for new information. Once new information comes in and the automation runs, then we will, I'm going to turn this off, we don't need it on right now. We will get the new client, send them a welcome onboarding email, add a Google Drive workspace, a folder to work in, and a Slack channel to work in. Your homework will be to take and extend this based on your own situation. So a couple of quick bits of housekeeping before we get started. The scenario is in make.com, free account up to 1,000 operations per month. Lots to get started with. Number 2, down here are the important controls, save being the most important. Make does not automatically save, and so it's very easy to accidentally lose hard work, so we want to use that often. Just click save. The next is auto align. This just cleans up the mess if you have one, and then the run once, so this will run the entire automation one time. We'll use that in testing. And below that is scheduling and the schedule settings. Scheduling means once you've turned it on, it will run whatever the settings that you've chose. Whether it's every so many minutes, once a day, every day, certain days of the month, on specific dates, your choice. And those are run if you have scheduled and you have scheduling on. All right, I think we've covered all the needed information. Let's go ahead and build. The first thing that we need is a form. Now, 2 reasons for the Google form. 1, it's part of Google and easy to use. 2, you create the form with your basic information, the fields that you want, and it will create your sheet that we will use in our automation. So, I've created this form for a basic onboarding, so we're going to go ahead and test it out. We'll call this test 1 test, and we'll just say test@gmail.com. We need to have a bit of information in the sheet so that we can use that to build our automation. Right, this will be an automation. We'll say $2,000, and we will call this test 1 workspace. Okay, this is going to be the name of the Google Drive folder and the Slack channel. All right, so let's submit it. All right, great. We'll have to submit another one shortly, so let's go ahead and get that ready, and we'll come over here and look at our form. I've been doing some testing. Let's just get rid of these. All right, and so we have our input. Now we need to look at our flow one more time. So we're going to connect our Google Sheet that will get that information. We will use a router that takes the same bit of information and passes it to different modules so that you have the same information available multiple places. Then we will send an onboarding email, build the Drive folder, and add the Slack channel. All right, hope you're ready. Let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is go into our make. I'm going to be in automation school here and create a scenario. First thing that we need is sheets. Oops. Okay. And we want to just click there so we can see more. And what we're looking for is watch new rows. Notice they have lots of different options for a lot of different functions. In this case, though, when a new bit of data is added and our schedule runs, we want to be able to find that and follow our automation flow. So we'll go ahead and click that, and then let's get started. You will have to have all of these different modules connected to their respective service. Google makes it super easy. Here are the online help, and you can click add. That will walk you through the process. It's pretty simple, although we do have some videos on this. We'll link those in the description. So the first thing, make sure you're on the right account. I'm going to go to my account here. And next, search method by path. It's going to be my drive. You can have shared drive, or you can have a named different shared drive for your team. Wherever that is, you'll just find the one that you want. In this case, it's my drive. Next, we're going to find our spreadsheet. And my spreadsheet is in the AI Automation Elite directory inside of 14 Days of Automation. And then the spreadsheet that I named Automations, which is right here. This is the Automations and the new client for the sheet tab. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back over here, and the sheet name is New Clients. Google Form will automatically create the headers, so just leave the rest of these as is, with the exception of limit. I'm going to change this to 1, just so I don't have to add a whole lot of test data. And the point of this is that every time the automation runs, it will find the next whatever number you have of records and move through. So for instance, if you have it run every hour, and in that hour you added 3 records, it will take the oldest 2, do the automation. The third one will be run the next hour when this runs again. Okay. Now click OK. And we need to have a place to start. Now you can choose ID, you can choose all. For this instance, actually we'll just choose all so you can see how that works. Okay. Now you can also choose a location, a specific record. Just choose the oldest one if that's the way that you go. Now the next thing we need to do is import this information into Google Sheets because we have nothing to work with. So we right click, run this module only, and now the magnifying glass shows up, and our output is our test 1 test. Here is our information, and that's at row number 2. Now we can use this information to continue our automation. Next is the router, and you can find the router inside of flow control, or you can just type router. And like I said, this gives us all of this information here available to all of these children modules on the other side of the router. So it just gives the same information, splits it multiple ways. So the first one that we need is Gmail. So we'll type Gmail, and we want to send an email. Now, if you're working in a situation where you have AI, we'll be going through this where we'll have AI doing responses or bids, and you want to send out the email, you probably want to have that added to draft so you can confirm it first. But in this case, this would be exactly like you typing it without you typing it. All right, so make sure that you are connected to the Gmail. Follow the instructions. Here is the add. The next thing is add a recipient. Who are we sending the email to? This, of course, is our new client. So when we click here, it automatically brings up the information that's available to us. And if we highlight over it, you notice how it's pulsating. This works really great when you have a lot of steps and you want to make sure that the information you're pulling is from the right particular module. So we want client email. A special note, it has email address that is from the Google form. That's not the one you want. That's the person who added the record, not the one that is the new client. That's why we name this client email. All right. Next is the subject, and here we could say, welcome. And normally you probably wouldn't do this, but I would say here we'll show you how to use some of these inputs. So we'll just say welcome first name, client first name. That would be our subject, and then our content is the body. So you might say, hi, first name, welcome to my company. Here is your data. Now, this is not a very good example. You can customize this however you need to for your own business. Okay? But I just wanted to give you some examples. So maybe we have name. Now make sure you put a space in front of the field, just like you normally would when you type, and a space between. Otherwise, you would have test 1 test without any spaces. So we'll go ahead and grab that second or the last name with a space. Maybe the project is going to be the name of the Slack channel or the Google Drive directory, so everything matches, keeps everything nice and clean. And let's go ahead and put budget. Now, pay attention to budget. Notice it's just the number 2000. We want it to refer to money, so we can just put a $sign, no space in this case, and our budget. And you can add attachments as well, but we won't add any right now. We'll say OK. Now, next is our Google Drive. Type Drive, show more, and we want to create a folder. The same process repeated. Make sure your connection is set up. If it's not available, add it, same as all the other modules, so I'm not going to go into it. Now this time we want to know where we're going to put the work directory or the work file that you're going to be working on. Perhaps it's a team, so it's in a shared drive. All you have to do is find the location where you want those folders to be. In this case, I'm going to use the AI automation 14 days, same as I did on the other side. And that's all we need there, and the folder name. Well, the folder name is going to be dynamic, which is the input, Drive, and Slack channel name. You can also say share it. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll leave that for your homework. And finally, we want to add Slack. So what we do is we come to our router. We still want all of this information, so we come to our router. Click that one more time. Click here. Say Slack. Show more. And here we want to, perhaps you want to create a message, but in this case, we want to first create a channel. Right, a working channel. You're going to have to connect it. Same process all over again. And this time we need to name that channel, and we already have that available to us. That is our Drive and Slack. You can make it private. These are options you can choose. They're very clear in what you want to do, but in this case we'll make it available to our company and anybody that's in it. Okay. So we now have these three things. Let's make sure we save. Let's just auto align there. And we can look at this flow here. Not terribly useful here, but as you get more advanced, it'll come in handy. All it does is say, oh, I found some information inside of here. I then split that information, send it to each piece. I go to the next piece of information, send that information to each of the modules on the end. Pretty nice and simple. Now we want to test it. So let's come over here and say run once. And notice nothing happened. We got one over here, and if we click that, the operation data size 0. And the reason is we have already used our test information, right? We've already used this guy, and so it says, nope, you've already used it. We're waiting for a new one, and that's part of the benefits of this watch rows. So let's create a new one real quick. We'll come over to our form. We'll say Zach testing a lot. Testing at gmail.com. Actually, we'll say test a lot. All right. We're going to say that this is an automation. Our budget is $3,200, and our Drive and Slack channel name will be testing a lot automation. Okay. Whatever it is that you've chosen to maintain your naming convention, that will be here. All right. So let's submit it. When we come back over here, we now have a new record since the last time it ran. So let's come back over here. And now normally After this step, you would schedule. Okay, so we're going to run it one more time. We're going to see if it all works. All right, notice we got one record. We did one operation, one operation, one operation. So let's look here. Our Zach testing a lot. So let's go look at our email. Hi, Zach. Welcome to my page. Zach testing a lot. Here's our project name. And here is our budget. Excellent. The next step, it went to Drive. So let's come over here. And it says the input was testing a lot automation. And the output, testing a lot automation, right? And here's all the other information that's available to that. And finally, Slack. Our input was the same name. The output was it created a testing a lot automation, channel true, and also all of this information, all of which you can also control through multiple steps of automation. So let's take a look real quick just to confirm our 14 days. So we're inside Automation Elite, 14 days automation. Let's refresh this. And we have testing a lot automation folder built. And so now you can start to improve this based on your own need. Maybe you use Trello or Jira or ClickUp and you want to add tasks automatically. You do that. You can say add another route here and then go to your tool. Maybe you want to include documents. Maybe you want to share this file folder to your client. So you could have a next step that adds them to the share. Perhaps you want to invite them to Slack. You can do that from here. Lots of options based on your need. So your homework is modify this to fit your needs. If you have questions or you want some more feedback, drop them in the channel. We are more than happy, both as a team and as a community, to help you find what's best for you. Congratulations on day one. We'll see you tomorrow.